Consider something strange with me. Before the lotus becomes beautiful, it begins buried beneath the surface, beneath the light, rooted in the mud, where nothing about it appears as sacred. And yet, this is where the lotus is formed, not above the pain, and not away from the darkness, but inside the very place that most things would rather escape. The lotus must traverse through the mud, and it rises, slowly, quietly, but faithfully, till one day, what began in the dark, opens toward the sun. And maybe parts of your life that feel buried are not proof that you are finished. Maybe they are the hidden place where something in you is learning how to rise. Welcome back, my fellow stranger, to another episode of Traversing the Strange World. And I'm your host, Isaiah Danbury. And you're listening to another Monday Morning with Peace. And this week we are taking one simple mantra from the Vietnamese Buddhist monk, Thich Nhat Hanh. No mud, no lotus. The nature of the lotus is to rise through muck, through mire. It has to traverse on that long journey before it can become the beautiful lotus. Beneath the image is a whole philosophy of suffering. In Buddhism, suffering is not a strange interruption to life. It's not seen as proof that something has gone uniquely wrong with you. Suffering is part of the human condition. To be alive is to experience change, and to experience change is to experience loss. To love anything is to know that one day it may hurt. And to desire control is eventually to meet the places where control runs out. Buddhism begins by asking us to look at life directly as it is, not as we wish it was. And one of the first things it asks us to see is that pain cannot be avoided, but suffering can be understood. What is understood can begin to be transformed. The mud represents the conditions we would rather reject: grief, fear, disappointment, heartbreak, and all the heavy places of being human. But the lotus teaches us that the painful parts of life do not have to be meaningless. They can become the conditions where wisdom grows. Not because pain is good, not to glorify suffering, because even inside suffering, something in us can awaken. And that's the heart of this philosophy. We do not become free by pretending there is no mud. We become free by learning how to rise without being destroyed. And that is why the mantra is so simple. No mud, no lotus. And we as the human creature, we find ourselves engulfed in this world of status, of appearance, of this perfect, clean-looking image. And when things get messy, we start to believe that something is wrong with us. This world of images, this world of perfection, status, it's not normal. Normal life is not constant ease. Normal life is change, discomfort, breaking and repair, and growing through things we did not ask for. A seed does not become a tree by staying whole. It has to crack open. A muscle does not grow stronger by staying untouched. It grows because it is torn, stressed, and rebuilt. So why do we think the soul should be any different? We have to let go of the idea that a good life is a painless life. Pain does not mean you are failing. Sometimes it means something in you is being forced to grow. Chaos and disarray are normal parts of this reality. What is the lotus's reality of the world that it grows in? Its roots settle down into the mud at the bottom of the pond. And the mud is thick and dark and full of decay, old leaves, and broken things, and organic material that has fallen apart. But to the lotus, that mud is its nourishment. From that hidden place, the lotus sends a stem upward through the water, and it has to rise through the murk before it can ever even see the light. And then when it finally reaches the surface, the flower does not explode open all at once. It unfolds slowly, petal by petal, layer by layer. What is hidden begins to reveal itself. The beauty of this flower is not separate from the mud beneath it. The mud is part of the process. And maybe that's how we could understand our own pain. The grief, the failure, and the heartbreak. These things are not beautiful by themselves. But if we face them honestly, if we allow them to teach us, they can become the place where something wiser and more beautiful begins to grow. The lotus has to rise through the mud to become what it is, and maybe we do too. So if pain is to us what mud is to the lotus, how do we navigate through the pain constructively? This is something I'm horrible at, but I think one of the first things we have to do is slow the mind down, because pain does not come all at once, and it does not come alone. Pain arrives, and then the mind starts building a story around it. It starts experiencing cognitive distortion. This will never get better. I'm broken. I always ruin things. No one understands me. This is just who I am. And once we believe these stories, the pain sticks around. Cognitive behavioral therapy teaches us that our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions are connected. What we think affects what we feel. And what we feel affects what we do. And what we do can either deepen the mud or help us rise through it. So the first practice is this. Name the pain without becoming the pain. Instead of saying, I am hopeless, say, I am having a hopeless thought. Instead of saying, my life is falling apart, say, I am feeling overwhelmed right now. I think that small space matters, because once there is space between you and the thought, you can examine it. Is this thought even true? Or maybe it's partially true, but not fully true. Is there another way to see this? What would I say to someone I loved if they were feeling this? This is not pretending that pain is easy. This is learning not to hand pain the pen and let it write your whole narrative. And then we can ask, what is one constructive action I can take today? Not the whole solution, just one action. The lotus does not rise all at once. It rises 1 inch at a time. If there is no mud, there is no lotus. Ultimately, I think the core of this is attachment. Gaining the ability to detach from every thought that we have, every feeling of pain. Gaining the ability to detach from the narratives that come easy to us when things go bad. To be intentional about stepping back and observing. To detach from what we project onto it. And to ask, what is this how it is? The Buddha taught that our feelings and our perceptions are not the deepest truth of who we are. And one of the great teachings on not self, the line is, this is not myself. This is not what I am. That does not mean your pain is fake, and it's not telling you to deny your pain. Your pain is not your whole identity. And it means your projection onto the situation is not the whole reality. The Dhammapada says the mind precedes all mental states. In other words, the mind shapes the world we live inside. If the mind clings to pain, pain becomes a prison. If the mind clings to a narrative of the situation, then the narrative becomes the life. But if the mind observes pain with wisdom, pain can become a teacher. No mud, no lotus. Thich Nhat Hanh's mantra, no mud, no lotus, is not just a beautiful phrase. It is a discipline of seeing clearly. The mud is real, and the suffering is real. The ache, the grief, the fear, and the disappointment, they are all real. They are all parts of this life that we're navigating. None of it has to become the final name. None of it has to become the final destination for your soul. Let go of the narrative that is necessary for you to let go of, to rise, and to become. You are not the mud. You are the life rising through it. When pain comes this week, stop and observe it. Don't run from it. Don't cling to your go-to narratives. Don't let it write your whole identity. Notice it. Observe it. Learn from it. And remember, no mud, no lotus. The mud, the struggle, the beauty that emerges through all of it, it is all part of life. Life is not all beautiful. Life is not all bad. Life is not all mud. Life is not all lotus. Let us learn to observe everything in its proper season, and to know that it has a proper place in this life, in this experience that we are navigating. And I think I'm going to end it there. If you're listening on YouTube, like and subscribe, and leave a little comment. Comment Lotus if you made it all the way to the end. And if you're listening on Spotify, leave a review. Leave a little comment too. It would be greatly appreciated. All right, until next time, my fellow stranger, let us keep traversing this strange world. Let us navigate through the pain, and let us always be introspective. And let us be neighborly to folks, because we're just kind of casting this life thing. This life that we don't know a lot about. And many of us are navigating through pain that we also do not know a lot about. So at the end of the day, we're all just strangers in a strange land. Until next time, peace.